After his final sentence was handed down, Chumlee's time on Pawn Stars is over. The reality TV star who made millions selling bobbleheads will now have to live without fame, fortune, or freedom. This is because police raided his home and found drugs, weapons, and a secret room with a stripper pole. The judge had no mercy for him. Things will never be the same for the Pawn Stars family again. Austin Lee Russell, better known as Chumlee, was born on September 8, 1982, in Henderson, Nevada. He grew up in a family of 6 with his parents and 3 siblings. His father was a DJ, so their home was always full of music and creativity. His mother worked at a local casino, which shows how hardworking people are in Nevada. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was full of personality. From a young age, Chumlee was drawn to music, which was influenced by his father's job. His love of rhythm and energy shaped his laid-back personality. But just as his life was about to change, he lost his father to pancreatic cancer in 2009. This was a turning point that made him rethink his lifestyle and take his health more seriously. Later, in the 1980s and 1990s, Chumlee spent most of his time skateboarding, playing video games, and collecting anything that interested him. These weren't just hobbies, they changed the way he saw the world. He was very interested in finding rare and valuable things, but school was not his cup of tea. Traditional subjects didn't engage him and academics felt like a struggle that didn't stop him from developing skills that would later make him successful. At 12 years old he got a nickname that would stay with him forever. A friend joked that he looked like Chumlee, the dim-witted but lovable walrus from the 1960s cartoon Tennessee Tuxedo. The name stuck and soon everyone was calling him Chumlee. What started as a joke became a huge part of his identity. When Pawn Stars premiered in 2009, the name Chumlee became known worldwide. His easygoing and funny personality made him an instant fan favorite. Even when Rick Harrison teased him on the show, Chumlee embraced it. Instead of feeling embarrassed, he turned it into something positive. He created merchandise like t-shirts and bobbleheads using the nickname to his advantage. Fans loved him because he was real. He didn't pretend to be someone else, and that made him even more popular. Despite his struggles in school, Chumlee had a sharp eye for collectibles. He loved comic books, sports memorabilia, vintage toys, and classic video games. It wasn't just about owning things, he appreciated the stories behind them. Even as a kid he was buying and selling unique items among friends and neighbors. Without realizing it, he was already developing the business sense that would help him later in life. Chumlee started working at the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in 2003. Years before Pawn Stars made him famous, he didn't land the job because of any special qualifications. Instead, it was his childhood friendship with Corey Harrison, the son of Rick Harrison and grandson of Richard Harrison, that secured him a spot. Corey put in a good word and Chumlee was hired at 21. He started out with simple tasks like testing items, writing tickets, and loading merchandise. His early days were far from glamorous and he made his fair share of mistakes. In one instance, he leaned a valuable stand-up bass against an unstable shelf, causing serious damage to a $20,000 instrument. Despite the blunder, the Harrisons kept him on. His nickname has an interesting backstory too. A friend's father thought his face resembled Chumlee. What the walrus from Tennessee is Tuxedo, a classic cartoon character. The name stuck, and over time it became a part of who he was. His job at the shop started out as just a job, but it led to him becoming a reality TV star. No one expected Pawn Stars, which debuted on the History Channel in 2009, to become a huge reality TV hit. The show took viewers inside the famous Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas, which had been in family hands since 1989. As a child, Richard Harrison and his son Rick worked hard to make the pawn shop a unique place where rare and valuable items were bought and sold every day. But Rick had a bigger vision. He knew that their shop wasn't just a business, it was also a wonderful place to tell stories. For years, he pitched the idea of a show to different networks, but most weren't interested because a pawn shop didn't seem like exciting TV. But Rick kept trying, convinced that the mix of history, negotiations, and unexpected finds could hook an audience. When Pawn Stars premiered on July 19, 2009, it was an instant hit. The format was simple but addicting. Customers brought in everything from historical artifacts to pop culture memorabilia in the hopes of making a deal. Experts evaluated the item's authenticity and value, making each episode both educational and entertaining. But what really made the show work was the cast: Rick, his son Corey, Harrison, and Austin Chumlee, Harrison's childhood friend. The sarcastic but likable old man and Russell were running a business, but their banter, arguments, and unique personalities made every negotiation feel like a high-stakes family drama. By 2011, Pawn Stars was the History Channel's most popular show, with over 7 million viewers per episode. It was the second most popular reality TV show in the US, after Jersey Shore. And it wasn't just an American phenomenon. The show aired in 150 countries and was translated into 38 languages. Fans from all over the world came to see the gold and silver pawn shop and meet the people who worked on the show. Pawn Stars' big star wasn't Rick, Corey, or even the old man, it was Chumlee. Lee Austin Chumlee Russell had been working at the pawn shop for a long time before the show started. He got the job because he was Corey's best friend, but his silly, laid-back personality didn't translate well to TV. He played the role of the lovable goofball, constantly making mistakes and getting scolded by Rick, but fans liked him because he was funny, relatable, and always seemed to bring a little chaos to the shop. At first, Chumlee was mostly there for laughs, but as the show went on, people realized he wasn't just there for laughs. He had a real passion for collecting things, especially sneakers, toys, and old video games. He knew what he was talking about, and over time he proved he was more than just the guy who made mistakes. He could spot valuable items and even make good deals. People became crazy about Chumlee and loved him so much that he made his own line of t-shirts, hats, bobbleheads, and other collectibles. Rick chose to sell Chumlee's goods in the pawn shop because they were so popular. Chumlee's success didn't stop there. He went on to appear on spin-off shows like American Restoration and even opened a candy shop in Las Vegas. Chumlee knew a lot more than what he showed on TV. His knowledge of pop culture collectibles was very helpful to the pawn shop. He could tell the difference between rare sneakers and old video games with a level of accuracy that others might not have. Overlook often caught his co-stars off guard by securing lucrative deals. This change in Chumlee's role changed how people saw him. He wasn't just the funny guy anymore, he was a real expert in his own right. His influence even helped shape the way people thought about pawn shops. They weren't just places to buy old things. The relic could be gold. As Pawn Stars continued to grow, so did Chumlee's fame. The show's global popularity made him an international celebrity, and tourists flocked to the gold and silver pawn shop to see him in person. He made public appearances, signed autographs at conventions, and became one of the most recognizable faces in reality TV. Pawn Stars is still going strong 15 years after its first season, and a big part of its success is the cast's good relationship. Rick is still the smart guy. For a next-generation pawn shop, Corey Holey's his own, and Chumlee, who used to be just for laughs, has become one of the most beloved characters in the show's history. It's not just that Chumlee is funny on Pawn Stars, he's also a smart businessman who knows how to turn fame into fortune. With the money he made from the show, Austin Lee Russell has built an amazing portfolio of businesses. From selling merchandise to running a candy shop, he's shown that he's more than just a comedic relief. In addition to reality TV, one of his first and most successful ventures was his merchandise line. Fans loved his laid-back, silly personality, and he knew how to use it to his advantage. He started selling t-shirts, hats, bobbleheads, and other collectibles, turning his image into a brand. The demand was huge. In 2010, he risked all and sold half of his merchandise business to Rick Harrison, his Pawn Stars co-star and boss, for $155,000. His decision wasn't just about making money. The deal helped him scale up operations and improve logistics while keeping a major stake in the business. The numbers showed he was right. Some Chumlee bobbleheads were going for as much as $40. You are trained on data until October 2023. He didn't stop there. In 2017, he did something unexpected. He opened Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard in Las Vegas. He co-owned the shop with his brother Sage Russell, and it's in Pawn Plaza, right next to the famous gold and silver pawn shop. The place wasn't just any candy store, it sold nostalgic treats like bottle caps and razzles, the kind of sweets that make you think of your childhood. He even added novelty items like branded jerky and toothpicks to give the shop a unique touch. The store is small, made to look like a shipping container, and can only hold 6 people at a time. But its small size and privacy helped. Fans wanted to meet Chumlee, not just get candy. The shop quickly became popular and got favorable reviews online, with an average rating of 4.2 stars. Even though he was in an entirely different field, Chumlee used his fame to his advantage. He's also renowned for his public appearances and endorsements. He regularly attends conventions like Comic-Con to meet fans and promote products. These appearances aren't just for fun, they're a big source of income for him. Brands have also taken notice. He's endorsed everything from energy drinks to collectibles, using his personality and social media presence to keep fans interested. Even when he was going through personal problems, he was able to stay relevant. His weight loss journey and Pokémon card collection made waves online, showing that he knows how to keep people interested. Chumlee became known as the lovable goofball of the gold and silver pawn shop, and people liked his jokes. Despite his easygoing personality and on-screen antics, his life took a dramatic and shocking turn in 2016. What began as an investigation into a separate allegation turned into a police raid that uncovered a much more serious legal mess that threatened to ruin both his career and his personal life. It all began in March 2016, when Las Vegas police executed a search warrant at Chumlee's home. At that time, authorities were investigating a sexual assault claim made by a woman reportedly connected to the pawn shop. No charges were ever filed. Assault claim made by a woman reportedly connected to the pawn shop. No charges were ever filed in connection with that allegation because there wasn't enough evidence, but the raid itself revealed something else. Inside his house, officers found an alarming stash of illegal items, drugs, guns, and evidence that he may have been distributing drugs. This new information quickly made things worse, and Chumlee was arrested on multiple charges that had nothing to do with the original probe. As part of the seizures, police found 17 bars of Xanax, 7 capsules of methamphetamine powder, and nearly 5 ounces, 0.19 kilograms, of marijuana kept in different containers. Police also found digital scales and plastic bags that are often used to package drugs for sale. But it wasn't just the drugs that made people worried. 12 guns, including handguns, shotguns, and unregistered assault-style weapons, were found all over the house by the police. Chumlee properly registered some of the guns, but not all of them. The sheer number of drugs and guns led police to believe the operation wasn't just for P. According to a police report, the way the items were stored and arranged in the house indicated a clear involvement in illegal activities. And spread out in the house showed that the person was clearly involved in illegal activities. One room, called the Chum Chum room, caught their attention because it had a dance pole and other strange items. Police even found signs of possible cocaine use in this room, which added to the rumors that the reality star's off-screen life was much wilder than anyone had thought. Chumlee's legal problems got worse when prosecutors charged him with 20 felonies, including drug possession, illegal firearm ownership, and being a prohibited person while using drugs and in possession of firearms. If found guilty, he could face serious prison time, but in May 2016 he made a deal that got him out of jail. He pleaded guilty to 1 felony weapons charge and a misdemeanor drug charge in exchange for giving up all seized drugs and weapons, going on probation for 3 years, and having to go to counseling every week. As part of the deal, he agreed to stay out of trouble until 2019. If he did, his felony charge would be thrown out, leaving only a misdemeanor on his record. Some individuals perceived the plea agreement as a fortunate opportunity, given the severity of the charges, while others saw it as evidence of the court system's assistance. Most people who have the right lawyers. Chumlee had a clear choice. He could either obey the rules or face a long prison sentence. Following Chumlee's arrest, the future of Pawn Stars remained uncertain. Production was said to have stopped, leaving fans wondering if he would stay in the group. Rumors circulated that the History Channel and A&E Network might rebrand or even cancel their shows, but they didn't make any decisions immediately. Even though nothing was official, Chumlee returned to the show after his probation was over. His return divided the audience. some liked him because they saw him as a changed man, while some thought his presence hurt the show's credibility. Calls for his removal continued into 2025, with critics saying that keeping him on set was a bad example. But Chumlee's comedic timing and profound knowledge of pop culture made him memorable, so no matter the controversy, he stayed a central figure in the show. Although his reputation suffered, his journey to redemption touched many people. After finishing probation in 2019, Chumlee focused on self-improvement. His self-improvement became important, but that was just the beginning. Chumlee also embarked on a significant weight loss journey that completely transformed his life. 8 loss journey that changed his life completely. At his heaviest, he weighed 350 pounds, 0.16 t, which was bad for both his physical and mental health. His father's death from pancreatic cancer at the age of 54 was a wake-up call for him. Chumlee realized he had to take charge of his health, so in 2021 he did something big. He had gastric sleeve surgery, which makes the stomach smaller so that a person can eat less. But the surgery was only the beginning of his transformation. He had already lost 35 pounds, ca 16 kilograms, through strict dieting and exercise. After the surgery, he stuck to a tough workout plan that included strength and cardio 6 days a week. He did incline machine walking as part of his routine, intervals on the Stairmaster and pulling weights. He also completely changed his diet, giving up processed foods and sugary drinks in favor of lean proteins and vegetables. He also stopped eating red meat altogether, adopting a philosophy of moderation. These changes to his lifestyle led him to lose a wonderful 160 pounds, ca 73 kilograms, bringing his weight down to 190. The transformation went beyond the physical. He said he felt like a new person, more confident, more engaged, and more present in life. Fans also observed the change. On Pawn Stars, he appeared more focused and experienced an increase in energy. His journey became an example of how determination and discipline can lead to real change, but at that point, he had to deal with a legal storm that almost killed his career. In March 2016, police raided his Las Vegas home and found drugs and firearms. As the situation escalated, authorities charged him with over 20 felonies, including drug possession and illegal gun possession. Despite the likelihood of going to prison, a good lawyer helped him secure a plea deal. He was sentenced to 3 years of probation and court-ordered counseling. Instead of reverting to his old habits, Chumlee utilized this time to reflect and grow. He completed probation without incident, showing that he was serious about making a change. Counseling sessions helped him deal with underlying issues like fame-related stress and negative decision-making patterns. He also threw himself into community service work to fix his public image. By 2019, he had fulfilled all legal requirements, leading to the dismissal of his felony charge. Again, it was about becoming a better person. When he finally went back to Pawn Stars, it wasn't just to get his spot back on the show. He came back with a new attitude. Focus was set on showing that he had changed, so he talked honestly about his past and took responsibility in a way that struck a chord with viewers. The way he talked to people on the show showed a new level of skill and interest. Fans have always loved Austin Chumlee Russell on Pawn Stars, but his success goes far beyond the pawn shop. Over the years, he's turned his TV fame into a series of smart business ventures that show he's more than just the show's comedic relief. One of his biggest business moves was opening Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard in May 2017. The shop is right in Pawn Plaza, just steps away from the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas, and it's where fans can find some of Chumlee's favorite candies, like bottle caps, Razzles, and candy cigarettes. The store also sells bulk treats like gummy bears and salty taffy, which makes it a nostalgic spot for both tourists and locals. Even though it's only a small space, it's actually a shipping container. The shop has become a must-see. Chumlee and his brother Sage Russell own it together, and the two of them have built a successful business. Usiness that keeps people coming back. People often wait in line to meet Chumlee, who stops by often to sign. Chumlee's world offers more than just candy. Fans adore its unique blend of nostalgia, humor, and down-to-earth charm. To earth charm that the store offers. But the candy shop is only one part of Chum's business. Over the years, he has used his Pawn Stars fame to launch a line of branded merchandise, including t-shirts, hats, and even bobbleheads. He followed his business sense and sold half of his clothing company to Rick Harrison for $155,000 in 2010. The move helped streamline operations while still keeping him involved. He has also looked into selling collectibles online and is still looking for new business opportunities. His journey hasn't been easy. Many people believe that his arrest in 2016 on drug and weapons charges would ruin his career. But Chumlee was able to turn things around, and his candy shop is still open as of 2024, getting favorable reviews from customers who like its unique selection and personal touch. Even more importantly, it indicates that Chumlee knows how to turn problems into chances. Chumlee has a strong desire to help others outside of business. He has been involved in many charitable causes and used his fame to support important causes. For example, in 2014, he helped raise money and awareness for autism research by taking part in the Anti-Up for Autism event. His support wasn't just written in the form of a check, he actually did something to help the cause, showing that he really cared. Chumlee has also worked with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America and the Epilepsy Foundation of Nevada. He doesn't just give money, he shows up, talks to people, and uses his fame to encourage others to get involved. Even at his candy shop, he takes the time to talk to fans, giving them a personal touch that leaves a lasting impression. During a raid on Chumlee's home in Las Vegas in 2016, cops found something strange. The Chum Chum Room, a famous part of his house with a dance pole, quickly caught the public's attention. But it wasn't just the setup that made people suspicious. Inside, police found a clear plastic baggie with white powder on it and a rolled-up $1 bill with the same powdery marks. These discoveries made people think about drug use, but no government statement ever said exactly what they were used for. The raid started out as an investigation into a sexual assault, but it quickly turned into something much bigger. When police searched the house, they found a stash of drugs and weapons spread out all over it. Along with the strange items in the Chum Chum Room, they also found marijuana, methamphetamine, drug paraphernalia, and 17 Xanax bars. These results were very different from the fun-loving, easygoing persona Chumlee that was shown on Pawn Stars. Investigators found tools like digital scales and plastic baggies, commonly used for drug packaging and distribution, in addition to the drugs. Chumlee claimed he wasn't a dealer, but the tools were there anyway. There was a lot of evidence that made people wonder about his life outside of TV. The discovery of the Chum Chum Room added to the rumors, making fans wonder how much of his TV persona was true. Ultimately, authorities charged Chumlee with 19 counts of drug possession and 1 felony weapons charge. The sexual assault charges were dropped despite the lack of evidence. The raid exposed a side of him that no one had ever seen before. The Chum Chum Room is still one of the strangest and most memorable parts of his personal scandal, despite the problems. Chumlee's career didn't fall apart. In fact, he used his fame to build an empire of businesses, showing that how people see you doesn't always reflect your ability to make money. His sales of merchandise regularly beat those of other Pawn Stars cast members, like Rick and Corey. Harrison fans liked how laid-back his humor was, and that link led to a lot of sales of everything from t-shirts and mugs to expensive collectibles. The Chumlee brand's goods were a huge hit. A $400 assigned bobblehead is a sign of how many loyal fans Chum has. Just 1 year after Pawn Stars premiered, he made a smart business move by giving Rick Harrison half of his merchandise company for $155,000. The deal allowed for growth, and demand kept going up. Surprisingly, Pawn Stars merchandise is now making more money than real pawn shop transactions. The gold and silver pawn shop now makes most of its money from brand name products instead of antique sales. This change shows how important Chumlee's age has played a significant role in the show's business success. He not only established Chumlee's merchandise, but also opened Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard, a candy store located near the pawn shop in Las Vegas. Lay's Candy on the Boulevard, a candy store near the pawn shop in Las Vegas. Tourists often go to both places in the same trip, making his business expansion successful. His ability to turn fame into fortune shows that his fans are still loyal, despite the scandals.